Alright guys, welcome back to the channel Into the Garden. Today's video we're just going to be doing sort of an update. You may have seen that I've sort of been away from the garden and visiting Turkey. Going to put out a separate video just showing you some of the amazing sort of Washingtonia palms and some of the other plants that we saw there. Sort of growing in a much warmer climate, of course, less cooler winters, but just interesting to see the difference in kind of growth rates and things on that side. So keep an eye out for that video. But just today we're going to go around, again, sort of 10 days away from the garden. You're going to see the garden in sort of all of its glory. And when I mean that, I mean, yeah, we've got weeds and things that have popped up everywhere. A few kind of cool things that I didn't expect. But what we'll do is just go around and take a look at those and show you today. Probably hear my voice, guys. I've certainly had a good time away, if you want to put it that way. Lost it a little bit here, but we'll try and bear in mind through that. Just quickly here, Colocasia, black sapphire gecko, looks to have taken a little bit of a hit from the heat. I know we've had a bit of a heat wave in the UK as well. You know, while we were there in Turkey, around about sort of 35 to 38 degrees C, but I have seen UK's also kind of had some very warm weather over the past few days, which certainly looks like it spurred some plants on, but also kind of maybe killed a couple down. So you just see here, Solomon's seal definitely taking a hit. It does kind of go away at the end of this year, you know, around this time every year, gone to seed. As you can see, if I can get it to zoom in, but still, you know, nice to see it is kind of still doing its seed, but of course we're kind of losing that for the back end of the year here. Just see heavily grown in here. Just as we come down this way, Princeps has opened this leaf pretty much fully now, which is quite cool to see. Quite a lovely kind of leaf structure on that one. This Musabastu, again, has grown quite a bit, I would say. I mean, you can now walk under this leaf, you know, without ducking or anything like that, which again, you know, it is starting to size up this year. Again, really cool to see on that side. I love that when the clumps start to really form. Our white has hardy fuchsia has come into flower now. This wasn't in flower before we went away. Just a few flowers down here, as you can see. Of course, red still popping off there, doing really well. Great plant. Again, maybe not your tropical plant, but as I say, I do like the kind of, you know, variation in flowers we do get here. The blazing star here, you can see, is kind of coming to its end. Still a bit of color on it. Still looks quite good. Again, as you saw, hops, yeah, they've kind of killed off only a few on there. But the clematis, again, has taken a nice trail along the top, so it's kind of cool to see that one has sort of put on a decent amount of growth, I would say. Just as we come down here, another notable one I wanted to show you here is the yucca, which you can just see here. This one had the flower spike, as you can see, and since we've been gone, loads of new pups under there, just showing it's kind of, you know, doing the yuccas do, and they just kind of pop and form a bit of a clump around that. Again, quite nice to see that still kind of continuing on. Now, I did have a very helpful neighbor come and water the garden twice while I was away, but as you can see, I mean, just weeds everywhere now. You know, it shows how quick these can really grow, you know, in this sort of heat, but also the combination of kind of dry as well. The neighbor was fortunate enough to turn on the irrigation on the tree ferns, which I'll show you here in a minute. Some lovely growth on those as well. Just coming this way, in fact, Onset Morelli has picked up a decent amount of height on that size. Again, we're probably nearing on 9, almost 10 foot now to the top of that leaf. Big new roller coming out as well. Of course, Musabastu, always performing, but also put on a decent amount of height just in the past 10 days that I have been gone. Just before I show you one that I found really interesting and cool when I got back here, but this one, Nymphofia, has put up a new flower spike, which you can see. Apologies if you can hear the helicopter in the background here. Just coming this way, though, this was one I was very interested to see. Not had this happen in my garden yet. This is first in the ground, but as you can just see in there, Cycas revoluta does have a new flush coming on, which again would be lovely if that does fully make it out this year. And of course, the heat that I think we've had in the UK recently, sort of up to 29 degrees C. I've seen even 30 in some places when I was looking on the weather. Yeah, it's definitely warm for us here. Aeonium Schwarzkopf. Lovely new heads on this. Those were not there, I don't believe, before holiday. At least I didn't see them. If they were, very small, sort of unnoticeable on that side. But again, really cool to see that sort of chucking out the growth now, even with the kind of heat. Typically, these more grow in kind of the cooler dormancy periods. But with that said, yeah, you know, it's still chucking out, and, you know, nice to see. As we just come down this way, I just wanted to show you Now into the jungle area. Again, a few new notables, and I think it's starting to really kind of fill out as we come through here. And again, apologies on all the weeds, guys. Yeah, there's something I'm gonna have to tackle. It just shows, I think, you know, staying on top of it, you are able to kind of keep it under bay. You leave it for a week or two and it can really explode. What's nice though, so if I come this way, you can just see really getting the kind of look of what I'm going for in this area. You can see this tree fern's filled out massively since we've been gone. Quite a few of those fronds have opened up lovely. Down here though, what I mean is you've almost got like a tree fern canopy, which is the idea. I want a couple more for these areas, just again to make a whole green canopy of tree ferns. Again, starting to really fill in and, you know, getting some good size on those. As we come down here, you can see this one put out a couple new fronds as well. 2 new ones also on the way. So again, this one's really kind of sizing up and is somewhat blocking our path, as you can see down here, but again, I think it gives you a bit of a jungle effect as you kind of walk and push through. Down this way, as we come down the jungle path, Alocasia does look like it is put out one more new leaf on here. Again, you can just see it down there. Which is always nice to see that is kind of, you know, pretty happy in this spot. I think it's quite heavily shaded, but with that said, yeah, putting out new leaves on that. You can see this pink china got a bit fried off. I'll try and get that to focus. Yeah, that bun got a bit fried off, but the rest of the clump still going. And once again, new roller and new leaf on that side. Just as we come down this way, the Petrus evergramensis does look a little bit sad in there, but I think, you know, I think it needed just a bit of water. It's a very sheltered spot back here, barely gets any sun. So with that said, you know, I think it just needed a bit more water, and now we're back. We can kind of tend to that. Calathea put out some nice new leaves down there. I think it looks nice, and of course, you know, it's not going to be hardy. I'm going to leave it in the ground. It was a 1 pound plant, if I remember correctly, and, you know, once again, we'll just replant that next year as summer bedding. Baby Dixonia down here. Couple new fronds. They do look slightly smaller at the moment, and again, I do believe that's partly down to the kind of lack of water that they normally get sort of every day at least when I'm here. Starting to form a little bit of a trunk in there, which if I can just pull this to the side, you can just see starting to kind of come up nicely. And once again, that was in the ground last year, and it's already starting to form, you know, an inch or two of trunk. As we come back and pan this way, guys, you can see Washingtonia. Again, it's really not done much, and I kind of expected this kind of little mini heat wave and a bit more dry to, you know, push on a new frond there. But again, that frond has been sat there. I don't know if that's going to be one that's going to survive this winter, if it's not really been able to recover this year. Again, it is in pretty good sun, so it's not that it's in, you know, full shade or anything. So I would have, again, expected that to really take off. When I was in Turkey, again, you know, you'd see these Washingtonia growing out of sidewalks, literally growing everywhere like a weed. It was quite interesting to see. Similar with the Opuntia cactuses, some huge examples of it with trunks, you know, easily tree trunk size. Again, that's, you know, it just goes to show that little extra heat. Different sort of soil quality also does affect that. Now, one thing I did notice in Turkey, which is a kind of little bit of a lesson I think I'm going to take forward here, is the Washingtonia that I saw all over there were really much more planted in like an arid style bed. So I'm guessing amazing drainage, mostly sand. You know, they're growing on the beaches, things like that. So yeah, it might be something I might kind of take that forward and try and you know, really kind of give any palm such as the Washingtonia, you know, supreme drainage. Really, just I think that may be kind of the key for us here in the UK to get a little bit extra growth out of it. Portaluca, you can see in there, nice little flowers. And again, I'm not really sure what I'm doing with this flower box. See, it's a bit of a mess at the moment. You know, I'm thinking of kind of covering this, and some ideas floating about. But again, if you've got any ideas, certainly put them in the comments. Now, on to one that didn't do so well. Brazilian dwarf tree fern, or Blechnum brasiliensis vulcano. You can just see it's a little bit sad. Some of the new fronds have kind of curled backwards and not really coming out as I would have expected. But again, a little bit more water this week, and I hope we'll get a decent recovery. Just down here, interesting to see, Sarracenia. Pitcher plants, we've got a couple new ones coming up. You see that one's closed there. Again, so that's quite interesting. This is seems to be happy. You can see their red one just in there doing really, really well. One thing I did notice when I got back is I had to top up the pond. It had gone down an inch or two. From what I can tell, we really haven't had much rain while I've been gone. You can see this has kind of been trimmed back. This is your Musa sycamensis ever red. New roller coming out, and I'm hoping, again, that little extra heat we're going to have for the next few days is going to push that out and really spur that on. Very thin trunk on those, so I'm hoping, you know, definitely going to be hardy from the ground. It should be, but I don't know how much height I'm going to be able to save this year. But we'll take a look at that when winter does come, and I'll show you my methods for that. So stay tuned. We'll see what we can do on the winter protection side. Another one that just didn't seem very happy with this, your heart-stung fern here. You kind of see it's all flopped over. Unfortunately, I think it will make a recovery. Again, with these ferns, you know, you can lose some of the fronds to damage, heat, whichever, dryness as well, and it should just kind of reflush itself. Quite quick growing, I've found them on that side. Looking into this way, the Ethereum fern, yeah, it's gotten a little toasted. It's definitely a little maybe unhappy in the spot, didn't get quite enough water, but again, you know, somewhat to be expected, you know, being away for so long on that side. Just coming this way, nice to see though, this Dixonia, which if you remember was just some smaller fronds. If I take a step back now, you know, it's climbed up quite nicely. I mean, that frond you see there, that's probably 2.5, almost 3 foot now. When I left, it was just coming out and maybe half that size. So it's nice to see they've kind of filled out as they've sort of opened up here. Panning this way, and never mind the thorns and brambles coming out of there. You can just see the Dixonia antarctica, which I mentioned in the previous video, had fallen over or nearly started toppling. I've had to add some more bamboo stakes there just to kind of give it that extra support. Hopefully it's going to root, take hold, and then of course, you know, it's going to make sure that that stays put in its spot. The Euphorbia Ascot Rainbow, lovely new flush. Just love the kind of color on this. Really cool kind of plant. You can see all the old dying flowers here. Of course, giving it that energy to reflush again. And if I can get in here, just show you the, I'll come this way, I realize I'm not showing it. There we go. Cleopatra, you can just see here, and I'll try to get a bit of a zoom. The new flower buds coming out here. It looks like it's really going to put on a show, so I really can't wait to see that. And of course, we'll keep you updated on that as well. And just as we come back, one of the other ones I wanted to show you is if we come down here into kind of the center bed, you can just see Aeonium here as well. New head coming off the top of that one. And as well as that here, you can just see, I mean, it's just completely overgrown this area. But yeah, with that said, I really just want to kind of give you guys an update, kind of 10 days, you know, no much intervention in regards to weeding and things like that, minimal water, and of course, as you know, the heat as well. You can just see the sycamensis there gone big as well on that side. Yeah, that's kind of the effect it's had in my garden, at least. I'd love to kind of hear your guys' experience down below, kind of how this, you know, week and a half's been with the added temperatures and minimal rainfall, if you had to be out, you know, watering constantly, these sorts of things. But yeah, with that said, guys, certainly feel free to check out the friends of the channel. Be in the comment section below, as well as that, of course, you're not subscribed to our channel, feel free to do so. Got some more B&M updates coming soon and things like that. Of course, keep you updated with the garden. I'm always love to kind of hear your thoughts. And of course, with that said, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.